Morning, everyone. Welcome to Good morning, everyone. This is our monthly webinar series. Today, we're going to talk about customer loyalty and how restaurants can work in these troubled times. So we're going to start the webinar in a short while. So give us like a couple more minutes so that maybe others can join us as well. As always, we will be, this webinar will be available online as well on our YouTube channel. Once, if for any reasons you are unable to stay for the entire 1 hour, or if you think that someone else might be interested in this webinar, you can send this one or send this link to all your friends. Right. So again, as we talked about, we're going to start the webinar in maybe in a minute or so. And today's topic is like customer loyalty and how restaurants can use customer loyalty during these troubled times, in terms of how we can interact with customers and all those kind of things. So we'll start in a minute, guys. All right. So welcome back again. Today's topic, as I was saying, it is customer loyalty in troubled times. A little bit about ourselves. We've started the company in 2015 as a restaurant marketing services company, and slowly have built this customer engagement module where we keep track of the customer journey, in terms of what we call as an awareness to advocacy. This is our customer engagement model that we have come up with. All the discussions that we're going to talk about, even though it is customer loyalty, the topic is customer loyalty, we will be referencing everything with the A to A model, which is awareness to advocacy. We keep on talking about the A to A model, giving live examples and all those things. In terms of like few of our clients, like includes Dairy Queen, Polio's Pizza Cafe, Unamas, and Nick the Greek. For today, we specifically are going to talk about a little bit introduction about loyalty programs and why, as a restaurant, you need a loyalty program. As a matter of fact, we have done a webinar on the loyalty program in terms of what are the key characteristics of a loyalty program and all those kind of things. Again, and also we have written a couple of blogs on this topic. You can go back and check on that. But in terms of specifically, we're going to briefly touch on that topic. But in terms of, we will be more focusing on how during these COVID-19, we are talking about COVID-19, but it could be any type of crisis that a restaurant might be facing, where they can actually use the loyalty program in terms of building new relationships or strengthening existing relationships and all those kind of things, right? Again, with regards to when we talk about loyalty program, right? It's not just the loyalty phase, but we also talk about the different the five phases which we talked about in the early beginning in the earlier slide about the customer engagement model, where we talk about the awareness, engagement, um, uh, acquisition, loyalty, and um, um, and then advocacy. These are the five phases that we actually talk about, right? So again, as we said, like these are the four agenda items that we're going to briefly talk about. If you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to type it up here, or you can also send an email to us at marketing@mconnect.com, and I will try to see if I can actually answer any of those questions during this presentation. If we do not get time, we will try to like answer those questions through emails and maybe on a one-to-one conversation, right? So as part of our MConnect program, right, we actually have our loyalty program called Frequent. So in this case, like the bottom line is like from a loyalty program perspective as to like there are a lot of statistics done in terms of like why it would actually why a loyalty program, right? Again, if you think about a loyalty program, it is nothing but we are telling that a customer is valuable to you as a business establishment, and we want to treat you, a loyal customer, in a different way when it compares to other customers. It doesn't mean discrimination or anything like that, but we want to give preference or something else on those lines of things, right? So that with that in mind, your loyalty program will basically help you identify those customers and give them the value that they are looking for, or some kind of a differential experience, if you can call it, or a differential dining experience that they can be provided. And this differential dining experience could be right from the coupons to recognizing them that this customer is a loyal customer, and maybe through technology, through customer service, and all those kind of things, right? And the basic reason why you want to, again, you want to actually have a loyalty program is, again, there are a lot of statistics that are out there which talks about numbers and all those kind of things, right? But the main program is to nurture a relationship with the customer. So if you look at like a loyalty program, right, I think it has been proposed and it is kind of like built upon long back with the airline companies like using this program to give incentives and all those kind of things. And that's what actually engendered the loyalty program, and that has actually percolated to other industries, especially within the restaurant industry as well. And if you look at it, like a couple of days back, Uber Eats also have started like saying that they will be offering loyalty program within their online ordering platform. You can feel that as in like the importance of the loyalty program is like all the way from this billion-dollar company called Uber to a mom and pop store as well. So that again, the basic fundamental principle is that you want to build a better relationship, or that engenders a loyalty towards your establishment, and then the better relationship is based on treating the customer in a differential way. Again, the differential is the most important aspect here. When we say differential way, in terms of identifying them, maintaining them, and nurturing that relationship and expanding that relationship, right? So you kind of like it goes back to our A2A model as well. So these are again some of the statistics that we have come across in terms of people look for a loyalty program, and again, millennials are actually looking for any kind of loyalty program that would actually help them to work with them, right? And it's not just the loyalty program, but also personalization comes into play, in the sense that if I, as a customer, I'm buying fish and chips all the time, So if you're going to give me a coupon related to this purchase, two things happen, right? First of all, I as a customer, I'm glad that you as a business, you are kind of identifying me based on my purchases and kind of like giving me a coupon which I like or I've been using, right? Or based on the products that I have been buying, and it will actually engender like the probability of me using that coupon increases as well, right? And then we have this 80-20 principle as well in terms of like for you as an establishment trying to get a new customer out in the market. It's a lot tougher sell than maintaining the relationship, and then also in terms of the profitability, in terms of the frequency, and in terms of the average spend and all those kind of things. For example, at mconnect, when we implement frequent program, few things we actually look at, right? Like we look at actually what is the average sale of a loyal customer when it comes to um, per average ticket when compared with other customers, and also the frequency, not more than just the frequency but also engagement level within the social media posts, the email open rates, and all those kind of things. So we actually keep track of all these metrics and say that okay, a customer is basically a loyal customer, not just based on the spend, it's also based on different other characteristics that we at frequent we monitor and manage and all those kind of things. So that way we can keep account of all these comprehensive metrics and all those things. Again, these are some of the things that why loyalty program makes a sense here, right? And in terms of like, given the fact that it's not just, again, from our perspective, right, we are always a big proponent of technology should be an enabler for a business process. What it means is having a loyalty program by itself or a technology program by itself will not make any difference unless and until you have some processes, some people behind it, making sure that you are keeping track of that. What it means is like you are like making sure that looking at what are the customers buying them. Are you looking at like some of the metrics in terms of the frequency, the average spend rate? If a customer is not coming back after a certain time, are there any programs inbuilt and all those kind of things? Can you identify, can you personalize your experience? Again, I go back to this example in terms of from a dining experience point of view, right? I remember maybe one of our clients where we have suggested that if a customer comes into the door, and if you know that customer is a frequent or a loyal member or a high spender, make sure that like you provide them with a different tablecloth than a regular tablecloth or something like that, so that all your employees know that this customer is a loyal customer, he spends a lot or something on those lines, and that is a visual cue for them to kind of interact with that particular table a lot more, make sure that the customer is taken care of and all those kind of things. So these are some of the cues, visual cues, some of the things that you need to look after from a process perspective, from an employee training perspective, and all those kind of things, right? So again, it's not just having a loyalty program by itself will make a difference, but making sure that you have the processes and people and the technology, a combination of all these things to make sure that your loyalty program is executed properly. Again, these are the things, right? In the sense that, like, if you look at it, for a loyalty program to be successful, you need to make sure that it's easy to use, and it's basically making sure that that's why you need to initiate the process of maintain of building that relationship. So it could be just that, like when a customer walks into the door, have your have your have your have your staff talk to the customer, or in terms of like trying to sign them up, or if it's an online order, follow up with an email and all those kind of things, right? So the important thing is making sure that you are making sure that you initiate the relationship, right? And then and then making sure that they sign up, and then once they sign up, make sure that you are getting the right data, in the sense that like what kind of data do you need from a customer from a loyalty perspective, right? You need to make sure that you have their contact information, if possible, demographics information. Maybe again you can get the third party data and all those kind of things, right? Um, uh, so and then using this data, you can make sure that you build upon that data in terms of sending them meaningful offers and keeping track of their usage and all those kind of things, and modifying their experience, in the sense that like for example, let's talk, obviously I'm giving an example which is not related to restaurants, but if you look at casinos actually have a different high spender club or something like that. For every time they actually give a card, most of them actually give a card to their regular spenders and all those kind of things, so that they can keep track of who are the people who are actually buying and all those kind of things, right? So in a nutshell, what you're looking for is you're trying to make sure that whatever you are collecting the data, you are using the data and making sure that the customers are taken care of, and the primary aim is to build and build the relationship with the customer, and expand on that relationship, right? um, Again, as we said, like these are some of the things that you need to make sure for the successful loyalty program, right? In terms of making sure that you have the sign up process has to be very easy, and a customer should not basically jump through hoops when trying to sign up for this. And the reward system has to be very simple, in the sense that like, okay, on sign up you will get this, on on something else, like maybe on reaching 100 points you get this, and all those kind of things. And obviously you can kind of modify this based on multiple combinations and all those kind of things, but making sure that those rewards are very easy for the customer to understand. And then whatever data you get, making sure that you can that data can be used meaningfully to build these relationships and to nurture those relationships, and also making sure that you have a good referral system. So the fundamental thing is, if you look at in our A to A model, where we talk about from loyalty to advocacy, right? So you want to push as many people as possible from being a loyal customer to a brand advocate. So given the fact that these customers are loyal to you, in the sense they like your food, they like your service, they like your ambience, so it's a gentle nudge for you as as a business establishment to push them to talk about your brand to their friends and family, which kind of creates more awareness of your restaurant within your target community, so that way you can get more business, right? So it's very important that you have all these features, which should be part of your loyalty program, and making sure that they are implemented seamlessly, in the sense that like ability to keep track of the spending habits, and ability to send out emails or notifications, push notifications, or through Facebook Messenger and all those kind of things. When we talk about like again the friction-free enrollment, right? We talked about like in the sense ability to join them with just the phone number. Again, giving frequent, which is our loyalty program at mConnect, our system is based on just the phone number. So we basically talking about is it possible for us to just get a sign up when the person walks into the door, or is it possible for us to get the sign up at the ordering process, or is it possible for us when they visit the website, and all those kind of things. So it has to be very easy for people to integrate. And again, talking about frequent, right, which where we have integrations into the point of sale system as well, so people can actually provide that at the order taking level and all those kind of things, right? A lot of people will actually come up with these cards and all those kind of things. Given the latest mobile technologies and growth towards the contactless and all those kind of things, we always suggest to our clients saying that do away with that, with the card, or maybe a business card or something like that. The reason being that people do not want to carry these in their wallets, and then there's also a good possibility that if it is a card, then you do not have a lot of contact information, in the sense that unless and until the customer walks into the door and swipes the card, you would not have enough information about that particular customer to send out communications, make sure that the offers are customized and all those kind of things, right? So you want to make sure that it has to be as much as possible go towards digital, right, and integration into the point of sale system, and the offers have to be very easy to understand, and people should be able to get their constantly be reminded of like how far they are into the system, and how far they have to go before they can get the rewards, and maybe surprise them on a random basis, saying that okay, if you make a purchase on like a slow day, like you might get double the points and all those kind of things, right? So you are trying to kind of customize and change the customer behavior based on what you actually see, right? The same case here also, like for example, these are some of the things that we have. Like if you buy some for every dollar you spend, you will get 1 point. Or we also have if you are basically making a purchase on a Monday or a Tuesday, you will get double the points, right? But if you're also like making a purchase, like let's assume buy five and get like get a sixth one free. Or again, as I talked earlier, like if you want to change the behavior, like let's assume Fridays are very busy period for you, but Sundays and Mondays there are not many people at the restaurant. So you want to say that okay, if you make a purchase on a Sunday or a Monday, you will get double the points. Again, bear in mind, it's not that like you want to have your Sunday or a Monday to be converted into a Friday. What I mean by that is like I'm not saying that you want to have the same kind of a rush that you have on a weekend to be on a weekday, but you are trying to kind of like have some people come in on a Monday or a Sunday as well, and thereby rewarding them with additional bonus points. And even if you get, as I said, like the 20/80 principle, right? Even if you get like 4 or 5 new customers walking to the door, or the existing customers basically making a purchase on a Monday, you are like increasing your profitability and all those kind of things as well, right? And from a data set point of view, right, we talked about like at frequent, we keep track of all these things, like when was the last purchase, how many times have they come, what is the average ticket, which items are being sold the most, right? Again, when we talk about like in the last 30 days, if someone is making a purchase continuously, how much is their aggregate spend? Is it when compared with other parameters and all those kind of things, right? Are they making an online purchase? Are they coming into the store, or is it a mix? When are they making these purchases? Is it, again, as we talked about, right? Is it possible for us to move them from a Friday to a Monday kind of a thing, whereby you can get like, you can kind of like make sure that you have enough traffic during those slow days as well, right? The good referral program, as we talked about, right? Like if you look at the A2A model, which is the awareness to advocacy model, your brand advocates are by far the most important communication piece that you have as a business. So that means if you as a business go to a new customer and tell them that we are like the best taco restaurant in town, the new customer might or might not listen to you because you are like one of the many taco places in town. But as such, if a friend or if a customer who is a loyal customer of yours is also a is also an associate or a friend or a family of this particular new customer, and this loyal customer becomes a brand advocate and tells or at least conveys the message to this new customer saying that, hey, listen, like if you want to have the best street taco, you need to go to this particular place. Then the probability of this customer walking into the door is much, much, much higher, right? So if you look at it, there are two things which are happening, right? You're not spending a whole lot of money or resources or anything for reaching out to this new customer. That means you're not spending on Facebook ads, you're not spending on billboards or any other things for reaching out to this new customer, right? You're maybe pushing your existing loyal customer to kind of refer this new customer to your business. So that means you're advertising, the cost of acquisition is lowered much more because of this brand advocate, and the probability of this customer walking into the door has increased. So that means like instead of you spending maybe $10-20 for him to constantly message this particular customer saying that we are here kind of a thing, this customer will walk into the door just because your loyal customer has referred this new customer to your business. So in terms of like your the referral program is a good, that's what we call as brand advocacy, is a very good fit into your loyalty program that you need to actually have, right? Again, these are some of the metrics that you need to make sure that you are keeping track of in terms of how many members you have, what is the growth of these, growth of the new members joining your loyalty program. And obviously there will be some churn rate. You need to make sure that is the churn rate higher than the acquisition rate, and why is the churn rate higher? Why are people leaving the program? Is it because they are not getting the offers? Are you bombarding them more frequently, right? Are you not personalizing the offers, and all those kind of things that you need to make sure that you keep track of these things, right? And how many new members are joining because of these referrals and all those things, right? So this in a nutshell talks about like why you as a restaurant owner needs to have a loyalty program. What are the basic criteria for a successful loyalty program in terms of we talked about the processes, we talked about the people, and we talked about the rewards that has to be given out, the sign up process, and all those kind of things, right? And in terms of the referral program. So with that in mind, how does it play out in the current COVID situation? A little bit brief about the current COVID situation, right? Like, obviously, this is the first time, at least in my life history, where we have faced this kind of a pandemic. In a sense, I'm assuming for most of the people, I would say, or maybe for the majority, or even for the right? Um, so in that case, it is so different in the sense that like people are afraid to go out. Even when they're going out, there is the social distancing and all those kind of things. So that means during these time periods, you as a customer, as a business establishment, are in dire straits of basically maintaining that relationship. So that means like you have to go the extra mile in terms of assuring the customer that you as a business is doing whatever you can in terms of protecting the basically safeguarding or coming up with enough sanitary procedures and all those kind of things for your employees, for your customers, for your partners, and all those things, right? So given the fact that like there are so many extraneous factors which are beyond your control. The only thing that you as a business can control is your relationship with the customer and letting them know that you are actively doing whatever you can. So that means you are taking care of your communication channels. You are making sure that the customers are they are like aware of all the measures that you are taking and all those kind of things, right? So that they will they will continue patronizing your establishment, and they will trust your, because they already have a relationship with you, and they trust you in terms of whatever measures that you are taking during these troubled times is in the best interest of the customers, the employees, and the partners, and all those kind of things, right? So as an example, right, if you look at Chipotle, they have actually seen a tremendous increase in terms of the number of people signing up. And the simple reason for them is they are pushing, not only they're actually, obviously they as a restaurant chain, they are pushing this loyalty program, and also the bear in mind, because of the increase in the digital presence, because people are not, for the past couple of months till May first week, most of them, March and April, most of them are geared towards like the digital platform. So that means it's easier for people to sign up for this, and also coming up with new offers and all those kind of things that actually has increased the loyalty program when it comes to again Chipotle as an example, right? Um, Again, the reason for this one is because, again, as I said, right, like people are going towards digital platforms, and also given the fact that it's the customer behavior has changed, and also the businesses realize the value of loyal customers. Like, for example, we have one breakfast place. Even though we cannot say that it is like a loyalty factor or something like that, it has been in business for the past 3-4 months, and we have seen a lot of repeat customers who are actually coming to the store, patronizing the store, obviously because of the troubled times. But at the same time, what the business has done is to maintain relationship with the customers. They have played a very, very active role within the community by donating food to the police department, by donating food to the local hospitals, by basically being part of the community and all those kind of things. So it's kind of like build that relationship in terms of like the loyalty, in terms of the community involvement, and also making sure, obviously, the food, the service, and all those kind of things that that is a given. But beyond that, you also have to make sure that you have to have a program that basically pushes your customers into signing up. Again, given the fact that the customer behavior has changed, and the probability of them signing up has increased. At the same time, you as a customer as a business owner has more avenues of signing them up and all those kind of things. Again, the basic premise is that, again, for example, you want to communicate to your for example, for all our clients, we keep on telling them that, okay, showcase what you're doing in terms of cleaning the store, or coming up with certain social distancing rules and all those kind of things in your restaurant. And then this message has to be communicated to all your customers, and obviously the more towards your loyal customers, so that they become your brand advocates and advocate for your business to all the other people, right? So that's very important, in the sense that, like, the basic premise is that you are leveraging your loyalty program to kind of communicate the message, saying that as a restaurant in this difficult times, you are taking care of your customers, you're taking care of your employees, you're going the extra mile, and all this will have and we have seen again firsthand where it would actually have a longer impact, in the sense that, like, a multitude impact, in the sense that they will be taken up by the message, will be taken up by these loyal customers, and kind of broadcasted or multiplied across different channels, right? again, if you look at the current crisis that we talked about, right? It has gone from 60 to 0 overnight. And again, I remember in the month of March where they actually had to shut down the restaurants and all those kind of things. And still, there are a lot of issues right now as we speak, even after this 3-4 months period. Obviously, the crisis is not done, and as you can see, there are a lot restrictions. The social distancing aspect, the fear psychosis from the customer side, and all those kind of things. So um, most of the customers were not actually equipped to deal with this challenge, and we have seen also where a lot of customers have actually signed up for our loyalty program, for our online ordering platform, and all those kind of things. And obviously we have seen also the delivery platforms basically going into overdrive and stepping up the game in terms of offering free delivery and all those kind of things, right? So these are like some of the challenges that are faced by restaurants today in terms of decreased capacity, increased customer, maybe we can call it as an agitation or customer changes in the customer behavior, going more digital and all those kind of things, right? And the delivery platforms also taking a pie of the business, right? With all these factors into play, how can you as a business make sure that, again, just contextualize this picture. If you have a loyalty program wherein you have like up to 100 customers or something like that, right? In your loyalty database, and you want to basically send this message saying that, hey, we are obviously, as a restaurant owner, you are in difficult times, you want the customer support, you are doing whatever you can in terms of making sure that you can survive, and put in the safeguards and the safeguards to maintain or make sure that the health and safety of your employees, of your customers, and all these kind of messaging that you want to put out to your employees, I mean to say, to put out in front of your customers. And having a loyalty program will help you a lot, because just think of as if like these loyal customers also have a vested interest. Like if you're a pizza place and you are their favorite pizza place, they want to make sure that you do not go out of business, because trying to, again, as customers, or as human beings, we are like resistance, we have resistance to change. So I don't want to go and search for a new pizza place or a new breakfast place or something like that. So I will try to do whatever I can in my powers to make sure that you run as a viable entity, right? So when it comes to these kind of things, right, like what we are talking about is, when you talk about like these loyal customers, right? Since you already have a relationship, you can be very not we're not saying that you can actually take advantage of, but you can be very upfront with them. And we have seen this the same case also, where you actually say that the gift card sales have actually increased tremendously. We have seen a lot of people actually buying gift cards, because the gift cards are as a tool, it's more like a like pass it on kind of a thing, in the sense like what it means is that you are actually buying into the restaurant, saying that maybe I want to use this gift card after 6 months down the road, but I'm betting that you as a restaurant would be a viable entity, or you will be in business after 6 months or something like that. So we have actually seen a lot of people basically pushing the gift cards as a means of sustaining. And we have seen when it is sent to the loyal customers, the communication, the amount in terms of the amount of the transactions that have actually happened because of these emails, because of these gift cards, is far greater than a regular email that has been sent out, or regular communication that has been sent out, right? But also in terms of not just the gift cards, right, but also in terms of making sure that you are like trying to push. When I say push, you're basically trying to convince your loyal customers to do their part in these troubled times. Again, when we say do their part, what it means is like you are telling your customer saying that, hey, listen, like I'm a pizza place, I need your help. Buy it online, promote this within your group, and all those kind of things. And that's what has happened for most of our customers. Whenever we post something, we have seen the same set of people basically trying to repost it or just or share it in other groups and all those kind of things. And also we have seen the impact of us sharing some posts on Facebook groups, or and then the kind of numbers that we are seeing in terms of the engagement and all those kind of things. And obviously, again, as I stated, right, these are like times where no one actually has seen it before, and the kind of customer behavior that we are seeing is a little bit different in the sense that, like, in terms of people want to support local businesses, but at the same time they're also wary of the COVID situation there, right? So if you look at some of the things that you can do as a business owner is that, again, just bear in mind that we are talking about pushing out pushing out gift cards, but also, for example, like again, we actually, for one of our customers, what we have seen is we used to have Tuesday trivia, and this was a customer who has a Taco Tuesday, and as such, their store is busy during the Taco Tuesday. So they have actually asked us to move instead of doing the Tuesday trivia, we've basically been we have actually changed the Tuesday trivia to more like a Sunday fun or a Friday fun kind of a thing, where we have seen the traction has increased during those posts, and in turn has increased the sales during those days as well. So it is a simple thing in terms of trying to look at like contextualizing as to what is happening with an establishment and changing your behavior based on the data that you have collected and all those kind of things, right? And that's what it actually says. Like if you want to say that your busiest times of the period are during the weekends, and you want customers to come on during weekdays, so for a few of our customers, we send out like as part of our campaigns, like SMS campaigns, we send out like weekly campaigns. We have seen that we have been giving pretty good deals in terms of saying that like two large pizzas for $20, instead of like it used to be around like close to $36, but for if you basically make a purchase on a Monday or a Tuesday, you would actually get it for just for like $20 a piece. I mean, say $20 for two large pizzas, right? So, in terms of making sure that you are looking at the customer data and analyzing it and acting on it in terms of making sure that whatever changes that you want to see in terms of the customer behavior, you are pushing them with a call to action around that particular change you want to see. Again, as a classic example, trying to move people away from weekend more to weekdays using special coupons and all those kind of things, right? Uh, Another set is, again, for example, like if you know that for every time a customer is making a purchase for a kid's meal, so that means they do have a kid in their household, and you might want to give them more in terms of excuse me, more in terms of a free kids meal or something around that time frame, as in around that deal as well. Another way also you can actually look at this from a customer data perspective is if a customer is again making purchases only during Fridays or maybe during a certain set of the time and all those kind of things. Given the fact that you have access to this data, you can actually push them to come during non-peak hours. And one more factor or one more thing I would like to point out is like all these bigger delivery companies, right? If you look at it, they do not provide any kind of customer data when it comes to interactions with you as a brand, right? So this is a big challenge, because end of the day, a customer who comes to you as a business through Uber is a customer to Uber, and he's not your customer, because Uber, they do not share any information with you. So you need to be very wary of the third party companies as well. And then that's where, right, like in the sense, like having your own loyalty program will actually help you get the customer data that you need, and also the ability to use them to make sure that you are building relationships on that set of data, right? Again, these are like some of the statistics or some of the ways in which you can actually use data, like in terms of making sure that if you want to increase your pickup orders, or if you want to decrease your pickup orders, right, you are basically making all these changes in your in like using the customer data to make sure that you are input using the data to kind of like push your customers towards that particular customer behavior, right? Again, if you look at it, like for example, what we have seen is whenever a customer checks in on Facebook and we repost it, two things are happening. One is like in terms of the engagement level itself from others on those UGC or the user generated content is higher when it compares with any other content, right? And at the same time, it is also sending a message, like for example, we had this restaurant, which is a bread and breakfast place. It's basically a breakfast place where we have seen that whenever customers are putting information in terms of Facebook posts or check-ins and all those kind of things, we have actually seen more engagement levels, which leads to more purchases and all those kind of things. And we have actually seen, if someone posts a picture of a dish, at least 2 to 3 new people actually make purchase of that particular dish on that day or the following day. Again, this is possible only because of two things, right? One, you are like identifying that customer as a loyal customer, and you are encouraging that customer to kind of post or check in or something like that. But at the same time, the customer himself or herself is motivated to do this on his or her own, given the fact that obviously they are a loyal customer, but also by doing that, they might be incentivized and all those kind of things, right? So making sure that you are like using this data. Again, early in the beginning, we've been talking about how customer data is really crucial for you as a business, and you as a customer or as a business owner always have to treat data as an asset, in the sense that, let's assume this way, like you are planning to sell your restaurant a couple of months down the line. So at that point of time, if you go to a restaurant or any other particular person who's interested, if you tell him that like you have this set of customer data, again, bear in mind, when we say customer data, it means like storing non-personal information or something that would actually help you identify their buying patterns and all those kind of things, right? And then, so going back to this one, so if someone comes to you and says that you have all these data or insights into data, then they would value your business a much more on a higher basis than what you would do without data or anything like that. Again, it's not just an asset, but also the ability for you to tap or basically get to that information. Excuse me, run some analytics based on the data that you have collected, transaction data you have collected, and act on that one. So that way you can basically make a difference in terms of the loyal customers. Again, we talked about the A to A model, and the customer data that we basically collect as part of this A2A model, and that's what we have been using for all our customers, right? Um, few things that obviously as a customer, as a loyal customer, what we have seen is the number of people, loyal customers, when we send out emails, right? We send out emails to just the loyal customers and also to the general public. And what we have seen is, excuse me, the numbers in terms of open rates or social media engagements or check-ins or sharings and all those kind of things, they've actually increased quite dramatically when it comes to your loyal customers as compared with your regular customers, right? And again, when it comes to the loyalty, right? Like, please make sure that it is not like a one-time thing. It is a process, and that you are invested in that, right? Again, if you take, like, obviously a lot of companies which are out there, they show examples of Starbucks, Chipotle, and all those kind of things. But for you as a small restaurant, as a mom and pop store, um, you'll be able to kind of like act on your own set of data and kind of like create um, um, more better relationships or something on those lines, so that you can kind of like build up your brand and all those things, right? And again, do not just think of it as a transaction based. Whenever a customer is coming in, just do not think of it as a transaction based, but more in terms of relationship based, in the sense that, like, you want to give them points and make them feel special, and maybe surprise them with some free gifts or additional bonus points or something on those lines, right? Um, again, as we talked about, it's not just like a one-time transaction. Making sure that the customers they have to feel special about it. Like, again, which will engender like more positive relationship with you as a customer, or positive relationship with the business. And they in turn, we have seen that, like, most of the time they tip far more better when compared with others and all those kind of things, right? um, Again, we have seen that in multiple times, right? Where if you want, you can also convert your loyalty membership into a separate program. And as a matter of fact, I think most of the programs right now, they have the capability to help others, like donating these points, or maybe using this. For example, what we have done is, in one of the cases, is like using your points to donate a sandwich to a hero, in the sense that to a hospital staff or something like that, so that they can actually have seen that they feel good about it, but also it kind of like generates more buzz. And then you can also run some programs saying that, hey, if you have 20 points, we're going to add 10 points to that and make a free pizza, and take out the 20 points from your account, and we're going to add 10 more points to kind of give a free pizza or something like that to a family in need, right? So again, given the circumstances right now, which most of the families are facing, this would actually help you to build relationship with the existing customers, where you are saying that, hey, listen, we care about you, but also at the same time, we also care about the other customers out there as well. And it's just not that, right? Like, when you're saying that if you have 20 points, you are pitching in 10 points from your side as well. There is a cost associated with that, right? And then giving this particular person a free pizza or something like that. So it's a kind of like a win-win situation for all, wherein a customer in need is getting the food that he or she requires or is in need of. You are building the relationship with this new customer as well, and also strengthening the relationship with the existing customer, right? And at the same time, building a name for yourself within the community as well. So, in a nutshell, if you look at it, right, um, trying to make sure that the loyalty program in these, not just during this crisis, but also on a regular basis, as a rather than as a transactional method, it should be more geared towards relationship, right? And you can also partner with local, like the co-marketing aspects, right? Wherein you can partner with other people in the neighborhood, and then kind of say that, okay, for example, we are working, we have a new client which is an ice cream place, so we are trying to work with a local pizza place where we can kind of give some coupons or discounts or something, like if you basically place an order here and come to the ice cream place for a free ice cream or a 50% off ice cream and all those kind of things, right? So in a nutshell, like if you look at it, right, we have been talking about the loyalty program and all those kind of things, and the importance of the loyalty programs, um, even during, especially during this crisis mode, right? Like where you want to make sure that your voice is heard, your message is heard, and the message is passed on to all the customers, your existing customers, and also others as much as possible. Focusing on the loyalty program is a big yes to that one, in the sense like you want to make sure that you want to have a place, or as in like in terms of you want to make sure that you are recognizing the fact that these loyal customers are different, and you want to gear your offerings, your way of treating them, and all those kind of things, so that the customers feel special and they continue patronizing it, and in terms of coming back to the restaurant, spending more, and also referring your restaurant to other customers as well. So it kind of talks about in terms of um, again, during this webinar, we talked about like how a loyalty program would help you as as a business, in terms of making sure you get like more traction out of it. Again, the focus has to be on building the relationship in terms of coming up with personalized offers, treating the customers in a differential way, right? And making sure that, again, this, when we talked about, I want to emphasize the fact that when we talk about a differential way, it is non-discriminatory way as well, in the sense that you're not discriminating against any other customer, but treating the other customer in a special way because of their status with you and all those kind of things. And then again, making sure that you are constantly doing this on an ongoing basis. Again, it's not a one-time transaction, it is more of a relationship and all those kind of things. Again, if you have any questions regarding this webinar or the loyalty program, feel free to contact at marketing@mconnect.com. This webinar will also be available on our YouTube channel. You can, and also the deck as well, the presentation as well. It will be on SlideShare. If you have any questions, please send us an email at marketing@mconnect.com, or you can also go to our website, mconnect.com, and use the contact form, or you can call us. So there are multiple ways in which you can actually call us to get in touch with us about our Connect platform, which is the overall overarching A2A marketing platform. Or you can, if you want any questions about loyalty program or anything related to restaurant marketing, feel free to contact us at this email. And as always, we will be having our next monthly webinar in the month of July. So if you have any questions or anything like that, let us know, or again, subscribe to us in terms of the next webinar and all those kind of things. And thanks once again for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to email us.